Welcome to Lash Executives. Today we have a special guest, one of my friends, Sandra. Sandra is the founder of Lash 411. She was the first person in the industry to start giving away the free knowledge of a lash artist in this industry. And so we brought her on today so that we could have a discussion about that, Instagram, and how it can help your business.
Hi everybody, it's me, Sandra D. It's Lash 411. If you know who I am, you know that I had an Instagram page for about 5 years, since about 2015. I used to make tutorials, do lives, speak at conferences, and I even wrote a book called The Lash 411, which is available to you now, and you can buy it here at Beyoutiful Wandz.
So, how did you use Instagram in your business? Like, how did it take you from, just learning how to start lashing to like, oh, that's Sandra, that's Lash 411. Like, how did that start?
So first, I was obviously a lash artist. I had my own lash business, which was called Eyelash Art in New Jersey, and I had an Instagram page with that. And about a year or two into lashing, I took my second volume course, which was my third lash course in general, and I started to notice a few things within my experience trying to find information online. It was really hard to do. So something as simple as, how can I find when's the next course in my area within a certain mile radius? I'd have to go to 5 different websites to look up a trainer. When I'd be in the Facebook groups and people would ask, what's your favorite or what's the best lash adhesive, tweezers and whatnot? And then you see that question every day with 50 different answers, and you realize you're never really going to get the answer, and you really realize there's no such thing as the best. So another thing I noticed was that we only learn but so much in a training course. You only get 16 hours if you're lucky. And there's so many day-to-day things that come up that you didn't learn in that course or you don't remember learning it. And so it was really important to start creating tutorials and little step-by-step things about the everyday things that we go through just to support others. I realized that if I was having an issue with it, or if it was a thing for me, it most definitely was a thing for others.
Well, I think that something that you did in this industry that maybe you didn't even realize you were doing at the time was you were creating the way that our industry kind of works now. Back in 5 years ago, it was very taboo to give out any free information. And so we were talking earlier about how for the first 2 years it would just be your hands.
I was anonymous.
She was anonymous.
Nobody knew who I was by design.
Yep.
Because if I wasn't supposed to be doing it, then hey, nobody knew who I was. But now that I think about it, I was asked, was there any backlash? There wasn't backlash from artists and individuals like in the industry. But I did hear that some brands were like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah.
Why are they giving away this information? So yeah, I probably led the charge on that.
Absolutely. Well, led the charge on that, and also led the charge on the way that brands are using information to grow their brands now.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they used to really market to the client. Mm-hmm. Like there were 2 top brands that were the kind of brand that a client would walk in and say, hey, do you carry this? Mm-hmm. And you'd be like, how do you even know what that is? It's because that brand knew to market to the client, not to the lash artist. Mm-hmm. And then brands started marketing to the lash artist, but then there were so many.
Yeah. And
so then how were they going to set themselves apart?
Yeah.
By providing content and education.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy that like in this day and age, like my brand was started 100% online. Like I started on Facebook, mm-hmm. and then I got an Instagram page, and then I got a website, and then I got the brick and mortar. But like in a business sense, like it's backwards, right? Like I didn't need any of that, and it's just crazy that like Instagram and Facebook and social media can make a business. Like you can make a business with your phone.
Oh, you can handle the whole business with your phone. That's the amazing part. It's like I could literally manage. You're managing $1 million business from your phone.
Right.
What? What? So that's the amazing part.
It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, I started my lash business with eyelash art, and I started on Instagram. And like I said, I was going around and noticing a few certain things, and that's what made me create Lash 401. And it really didn't take a lot because everybody wanted this information. So it was very easy because you were giving them something that they wanted.
And so one thing that I've learned or seen that's different, and I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the way that Instagram is giving their information out to, like, I guess maybe get you followers has changed within the last year or so. I know that like the Apple iOS and, you know, the Reels or, you know, the stories, like it's different now. So for me personally, it's harder to like get the followers when I started my brand, like say 3 years ago, like it was easy. Like I felt like it was way easier. And so I don't know, have you seen any of that? And like, how's that maybe fluctuated the way that we do business on Instagram?
So with Reels now, it's actually provided businesses, but more so the individual artists, an opportunity to like market themselves, but not even as a brand, not even about what the product that they're selling or the service they're providing. It's more so selling themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what is bringing people in, because I think more than ever after the last 2 years, I definitely have noticed something different in the industry. I can't necessarily pinpoint what it is just yet, but there is a difference. And what has always though remained true is that lash artists flock to really beautiful products. They love beautiful products. We love beautiful packaging. We love when we see a brand and it seems all put together. And so if their social media matches that and it's engaging, and if I go to your page and you have something on there that I'm like, oh, that's a value to me, then yeah, I'm going to follow you and stay there.
And that consistency also.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
as long as you show up, like, it doesn't have to be all rainbows and butterflies, but
see, you bring them in that way and then you keep them with your product.
yeah, absolutely.
And customer service.
So we talked about the last couple of years and the changes with the iOS, but let's talk about like the big thing here, the last couple of years, COVID.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
Yeah. And so, I mean, let's talk about how that changed, because I mean, right at the hit of COVID is where you kind of decided you wanted to get out of the industry.
Guys, I got out of Dodge right on time. Let me just tell you. So I taught my last course February of 2020. I hopped on a plane and I moved. And I was out of New Jersey by February 10th, 2020. And then 1 month later, we were shut down. So thank you, universe and God, for getting me out right on time, because I imagine that a lot of you had to either pause your operation, some of you had to close indefinitely, and lose your business, unfortunately. And so yeah, I imagine this was a very trying time, because in our business we are literally this close to a client, and there's no social distancing in lashes. It's just not possible. And so I was very interested in how we were going to overcome this, because how do you become comfortable again when you're like a revolving door? You could see 5 clients in a day.
Yeah.
That could be 25 clients in a week.
One thing that's like true about our industry and like the beauty industry in general is that when like a recession hits, the beauty industry actually booms a little bit. Yeah.
We survive.
Because people want to feel pretty. You know, like no matter what they're going through, like that's important to them.
For the most part, if I was just to refer to the female gender, we're not going to sacrifice our vanity if we don't have to.
Yeah.
We will put it in the budget. It'll make it.
So I mean, the last couple of years have been hard, but it also gave people and business owners and creative minds an opportunity to pivot.
Yes.
Right? And so we're able to pivot within this industry in so many different ways.
Absolutely. So the best part about being a lash artist is it's like the possibilities are endless. Like, you know, when you think about a corporate job and they talk about growth potential and like, you know, can I work my way up? Well, in lashes, you can do that too, because the best part is you're creating your own job. You decide when you want to move on and up, which role you want to play, if you want to play it or not, and you keep it moving. So for example, I was a lash artist first, then I had a shop. I didn't have employees, but then I became a trainer. And then I was a social media influencer. And then I was an author, right? So it's like I played different roles, but I never had a brand or products because I was never interested in having products.
And that's just the opposite with me, is that like I started as a lash artist, but I was never good at it. I'm not patient. You know, I'm very artistic, but maybe not in that way, because I was never good at it. But when I got to the business side of things and was able to use my creativity with my brand and customer service and just growing things and, you know, an idea here and turning that into reality, that's where I thrived.
But look at how you provided a service to lash artists. Right. So it's like while they're providing a service to clients, you're providing a service to lash artists.
Absolutely. And it's like you said, you have so many different outlets that you could choose within the industry.
Yeah, so if you ever get bored, don't worry, just pick another lane.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's one of the great things about the industry, that you can just pivot whenever you'd like to.
Yes.
So let's talk really quick about like kind of like how we met and our relationship, and like, you guys probably see Sandra all the time on like my stories, and like, what's she doing there?
Since I retired, this is the only story I'm on. So,
well, Sandra was like one of my huge role models that I would look up to in the lash industry, and before my brand was even known by anybody, you know, I would reach out to as many people as I could and just be like, you know, my name's Katie, and I'm making these wands, and this is what I'm doing, and maybe about 2% would respond. Well, Sandra was one of that 2%. Yeah. Well, she responded. She gave me the time of day. And I've always appreciated you for that. You know, you've always been in my corner, and I feel like you are definitely somebody that's empowers women. You know, we always talk about like women empowering women, and then that doesn't always happen. Well, it did with you. And, you know, I remember the very first time that, you know, I sent you some tweezers and you used them in one of your trainings. And I was like, I think I was at like a football thing, and I was like, oh my God, Ryan, Lash 411, she just posted, those are my tweezers. And it was like the best day of my life. And so, you know, like it's funny, like the saying that goes a long way, like you never know what you're doing that can impact other people, right? So like something small that you're doing that, you know, it's not that big of a deal, right? You used my tweezers. That changed my life, right? Like that made it real for me. You know what I mean? And so something that you are doing for somebody else could be changing their life as well. So, I mean, just keep that in mind.
Trust me, when you're doing your client's lashes, you have no idea what her week's been like, her day's been like, and so you will be surprised. You might have just made that woman's day. She leaves and now she feels like a brand new person, and like she has confidence, she can go conquer some shit. Like that's the feeling lashes can give somebody. And it's funny what you just said, because my brother literally said to me one time, Sandra, do you think that you're gonna change the world with lashes, or like you're doing some kind of positive impact, or like, you know, you're helping, or that's your purpose? And I was like, at the time, I was like, dang, like that's harsh, man. But by the end of it, and by the time I retired, I realized that I had, at the very least, culminated a whole lot of lash love in the industry. And that love and how I was able to inspire others, that was my purpose. And in whatever way that someone was inspired, whether it was to continue on with their brand when other people weren't giving them the time of day, whether it was just putting up a post and saying, have a beautiful day at the end of it. If I shared your product on my story, I never charged anybody to like, so it was my pleasure. It was a great product. I wouldn't have posted it if it wasn't. So thank you though. So here's the thing about Katie. So it's like Katie feels like I helped her, and like Katie helped me. So back then, I had just launched the website for Lash 411, and it was supposed to be a directory. And I was trying to solicit different brands to create a listing on the website, and it was like pulling teeth. Nobody wanted to give me the time of day. And all of a sudden I log in and there's a listing for Beyoutiful Wandz, and I was like, what's this? Beyoutiful Wandz, what's that? And so I take a look, and it's one of these wands, and I was like, what's that? I was like, oh, that's super cute. And so I was just so grateful that she had even signed up and had a listing on my site, because in her doing so, it then helped me, and it made me feel better that what I was doing was working, or at least, you know, somebody was into it. And so we helped each other.
Yeah.
So I thank you.
Of course. So like one of my favorite sayings and one of my firm beliefs is that like even if you feel like you're going nowhere, like in your journey with like postings and reaching out to people and, you know, putting a flyer here, you know, whatever, something that you do today, like making that posting, could help you 3 months down the road.
It's a residual effect. It's just like ads, though. It's like I used to, artists used to say, how do I get new clients? Well, put 10 business cards in your back pocket and don't come home with them. Like, you should be passing out 10 cards a day, and you never, it's a numbers game. Like, 1 out of those 10 is going to become a client.
I mean, it doesn't matter how big I get. Once a week, I walk out and I give flyers on this block.
You
because
never know.
Why not? Like, why not?
And you never know. One of those people could come by and say, you know what, 6 months ago you gave me one of these things and I wasn't interested, but now I am.
Exactly. Boom. Like, that's just how the world works. Okay, so we're getting off topic, but let's go back into your IG. 2 years ago, you know, you decided that maybe this wasn't for you anymore. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe your burnout or
so
what happened with you in the industry?
So those of you who are well, one woman or one man shows, one person shows, let's put it that way, you will understand that when you're both the front end and the back end, when you are the artist plus the accountant plus the social media person plus this influencer plus every other position that comes with the role, when you are that, you're wearing all these hats, and eventually those hats get heavy. And so aside from personal things happening, I just realized I came to a point in my life where I was like, you know, it's time to take a break. It's time to just be on a timeout. So I had decided to close my shop because I knew I had wanted to move out of the state. Although I did not think I was going to close Lash 411, if I'm honest. At the time, in February, I was like, yeah, I'm still me, but I'm taking a break. I'll see you in like 30 days. And then 30 days turned into like 6 months. And then 6 months turned into 2 years. So like I came back here and there. Because sometimes it just feels good to talk to my friends. But it just became a different place for me. And so I had to retreat and like heal, if you will. Do some inner work. You know, sometimes you just have to regroup.
So you talked about wearing like all these hats and probably just taking on more than any person should. If you could go back and like do it differently, do you think that maybe you would do it differently and maybe still be in the industry?
Hell yeah. You're right. I don't know. I shouldn't say hell yeah. If I could go back and do it differently, absolutely. If I could go back, I would have hired like another 1 or 2 of me. Somebody who was competent and able to do all the stupid shit while I focused on the stuff that I wanted to focus on, the art. Because when you get boggled down doing the things you don't want to do, you're like, oh fuck.
No, I know that. Like, we talked about this earlier in a separate episode of Lash Executives. With me, it was really hard to start like letting go of things and delegating. But when I did, I felt like energy, like a new type of energy that like I was able to focus on the things that I want to actually grow my business. You know, everything is important in my business. But I don't need to do everything in my business.
Correct.
And once I figured that out, like you get caught up with like, but it's gonna cost this much money for me to do that.
And
it's not gonna cost you this much money. It's gonna save you this much money. Because you can't do everything. And if you try to, then you get
you're gonna burn out. Yeah, and so I burned out. And I retreated. And I just spent some time with myself, and I was like, right, so what do you want to do? And I'm still figuring that part out. It's part of my process in just transitioning into something different. It's kind of something that happens to me every 7 years anyway, and my time was up. So sorry guys, but
So how
I love
many
you.
how many more years till we hit 7 years again?
Oh no. Oh.
So you're at like 3, right?
Yeah.
So like in 4 more years you're gonna come back.
If
No?
you're still here,
I'm just saying, like.
I don't know. But you know what, too? Sometimes it's like, once you've worked your way up to a place where you think you've been successful enough, you're like, okay, I did it. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what
And then
else?
once you've done something for so long, you could actually see like, yeah, that's not what I want to do anymore.
Not even that. I said to myself, well, what else could I learn about it? Because at the time, we were actually kind of at a standstill. There wasn't anything new coming out in 2019, really. Well, back then there wasn't any, and it's top of 2020, there hadn't been anything new yet. Then in 2020 we started seeing new curls towards the end of the year. The Pro Made starting to come out. I think now there's a .02.
There's a .02, there's .06, .04.
No, there's always been a .06 and a .04.
Okay, well, there still is.
They've been around since 2015.
All right, well, you know more than I do.
You know about .085? Girl.
See?
So, yeah, they're just, I think I had come to the point where I was like, well, what else could I really do? Like, I felt like I had done it all. And when I really think about it, too, and then look back at the page, I'm like, what other video could I have made?
Yeah. Well, there's always more videos.
Yeah,
but, so you're taking your skills and you're pivoting.
Yeah, so, as many of you know, when you work a lash business and you're doing the back end stuff like building websites and managing your social media and doing graphics and video editing, photo editing, and things like that, just taking those skills now and able to help others. And it actually takes a weight off of me because it's not mine.
Yeah.
When it's your own thing and it's your baby, there's this pressure, and it can actually fog you in a way because you hold on to it so tight and you don't see it the way that others see it. And then you bring somebody else in with a fresh perspective and it's their job to do, and they totally take it and run with it. And it's like, oh shit, I've been wasting my time because I've been trying to do it all by myself. So I like it better when I'm able to help somebody else with their business. So virtual assistance is it's one of my streams of income, as I like to call it. Yeah. It's one of my paths, but I also like to make things. Very crafty, if you will. Some of you know that right before I left, I had taken a sneaker course and I learned how to make sneakers, and I've kind of just been on this art journey, learning all these different mediums, kind of like what I did when I learned lashes. It's actually very similar, it's just a different industry for me. And what lashes taught me was that I could do that. I could learn so many different types of things, and I could fail but still succeed. Yeah. As in, maybe I didn't get that right the first time, but if I kept doing it, I'll eventually get it.
Well, I mean, and now you know what, like if you find something that you're passionate about, now you know, hey, I need to do this differently this time. Yeah. I need to delegate this time, or I know this is what I'm good at, and I'm going to have somebody else take care of this end of it.
Like, I think if you're a lash artist, lashes will kick your ass. Like, it's survival of the fittest in a way, in that you're either going to make it or you're not. You're either going to make it past that 6-month mark or you're not. Yeah. 6 months, you're going to be like, fuck it. Yeah.
And I mean, not even with just like lashing, but like in the industry. Yeah. Like for me personally, it wasn't lashing for me, but I pivoted to something that it was in the industry for me. And yeah, if you in any industry, I'll say this, in any industry, either you're going to run with it and you're going to make it, or you're not. There's two different types of people in this world, honestly, but
that's true. You either want it or you don't.
Yeah. 1000%.
So my name is Sandra. I have an Instagram page called Lash for One. I also wrote a book called Lash for One. And you can buy it here at Beyoutiful Wandz.
Thank you so much for coming here and doing lashes and just being an awesome friend and always being there for me.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me. Yeah, when I got that phone call, I was like, do some lashes.
And she said yes right away. I actually asked her last week. So the fact that she was able to clear her schedule and like be here for you, absolutely amazing. I appreciate you.
Stay beautiful.